She told him she didn't want visitors. She told him she wanted time to recover. And while she's pushing a baby out, legs open, raw, vulnerable, in walks his mom. Sis, I feel for you. Am I wrong for being mad at my husband for not setting boundaries during my labor and delivery? Nope. Listen, y'all know I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. I be knowing from the first openings if it's a yes or no, for real, because why the husband not setting boundaries? But let me not jump to conclusions. Let's get into it. Months and then a week or two before giving birth to our first child, I told my husband I didn't know how I was going to feel about having any company right away. Since it's my first baby, I didn't know how sore or tired I was going to be. I also didn't want to be entertaining any company. Listen, this right here. I gotta stop right here. Listen, hear me out. In my first birth, with my first pregnancy, I felt the exact same way. I honestly felt like this is a first time experience for me. This is, the first time with my husband. I honestly felt like we don't get this time back. I wanted to just be us. We can't undo that time. And although now we have 4 children, there's something about that first child, that first moment, those first bonding moments that you don't get back. And so I feel her 100%. I'm getting chills saying this. When she said, I don't know, that means she already is in that mother bear, lioness phase of, I have to protect my space. So she was spot on with verbalizing this, right, to her partner and right to feel this way. His mom wanted to drive down from out of state to meet the baby when she was born, and I told him that would be fine maybe a week after she's born, or she could come down in a month for the baptism. Flash forward to the day of the delivery, his mom calls while we are in the delivery room to see if the baby is born yet, and he tells her not yet. See, this is his first mistake. Why are you answering the phone? She says she'd come down the next day to meet her. He doesn't ask me if that's okay or tell his mom any previous wishes. Sir, what's wrong? You okay? You okay? I don't think he was okay because this was his time, if he hadn't before, to nip it in the bud now. Your birth space is so raw and open. Your husband has an obligation. He has a duty to protect it because you shouldn't be fighting. You should be in your safe space to have a baby. He was dropping the ball. He dropped the ball right in that moment. He dropped the ball first, not nipping in the bud beforehand, but in this moment was his moment to stand firm, and he didn't. See, I'm pissed for you, sis. Where my husband at? I got, where you at? We gotta have a talk. About an hour later, his mom calls again, this time telling him she couldn't wait to see the baby, so she'd be there tonight. Not inviting yourself? And he says, okay. Nah, he said okay. Oh, now I'm pissed off. Sis, I'm pissed with you. We pissed. We pissed with sis. Now I'm pissed off because she's going to be here this evening. Baby probably will have been born and already having a visitor. See? Mm-mm. See, this one I got called for backup. I need somebody. Listen, we fighting moms. Sure enough, right when I started to push around 11:30 p.m., she comes into the delivery room. My legs are all spread open. Only 2 guests are allowed in the room, and I have my husband and my mom in there already. So who let her up? Oh, somebody getting in trouble. Because if you're only allowed 2 guests, her mom was there and her husband. Who the heck let this lady up? So the nurses have to kick her out. So I'm embarrassed. I'm sure she's embarrassed. Embarrassed? I'm not even sure if embarrassed is the right word, sis. Like, after baby is born, my mom goes home so that his mom can come in. Nurses and doctors are still stitching me up and doing 30-minute checkups on me down there. So that's embarrassing for me in front of my mother-in-law. Absolutely. So you mean your ish was open and she just was right there. Sis, I don't even have the words right now. Y'all know I talk a lot. I don't even have the words right now. I don't get any time with just my husband, baby, and I. His mom stays the night at the hospital, so there's no intimacy between my husband and I. Ugh. And then the following day, my husband goes home to shower, leaving me to entertain his... I know you lying. I know you lying. I feel like my simple request was completely ignored by my husband, and after this entire stressful pregnancy and delivery with little to no support, I don't see myself having another kid. Sis, I don't even blame you. I don't even blame you, because what the heck? I would be... Where are my words? There's so many things wrong with this. Where the heck is his backbone? That's number one. What happened to that protector element? Does he not have a back? Is he Notre Dame, like a hunchback Notre Dame? I don't understand what's wrong with husband in a relationship with the mom. I'm not even going to shame you, sis, and say you probably should have known this when you married him, this dynamic. But you probably hoped that, at least for that, because it was a simple request. It was a very simple request, and an honorable one that should have been honored. And I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that you didn't get that. That is horrible. So some of the comments that their husband didn't either, and that has been 13 years and she's still sad about it. And that's what I'm talking about. You don't get to birth that birth again. Each birth is unique and different. You don't get a do-over. Like, what the hell? You guys know every video I talk about birth is sacred. Your birth space is so sacred. It is not a spectator sport. Birth is not a family gathering. It is intimate. It is primal. It is raw. It is vulnerable. No one has the right to be there that you don't want there. And for the simple fact that she walked in while you were pushing, are you kidding me? Not only is that awkward, it's a violation. It's a violation. Like, your vagina is not public access where people should just be excited about. What the heck is going on here? And anybody that think that's okay, fight me. Fight me. Your husband was supposed to be your gatekeeper, not the doorman. Like, his number one job as a partner is to protect, generally. But birth takes that protection up to a whole nother level. Because he's meant to protect that space physically, emotionally, spiritually. And if any woman has to defend themselves during birth, that is emotional neglect. That's emotional neglect. He didn't forget. He chose the peace of his mom over the peace of his wife. At this point, bro, go be with your mom. Go be with your mom, because it's giving you want your mom. That's what it's giving. I'm not sorry. You're simply birthing his child, not managing his family. And so if he don't protect this space, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? The third thing is that you don't get a redo on birth. We talked about this, right? And those very first few hours matter the most. She lost private bonding time, that golden hour that is so important, that intimate moment with her husband. All of that just went away. It was stolen. It didn't just go away. It was stolen from her. And not by the mother-in-law, by her husband's silence. His acquiescence is what gave that away. This is what was taken away. That's why. And so she's never going to forget who was there for her. Even though he was in the room. She's never going to forget that. The part that sends me, y'all, is that she told him her needs. And he ignored them. And so we're not even talking about miscommunication. We're talking about flat out disrespect. That was disrespectful. She communicated that clearly months in advance, weeks in advance, and even then on, he made no effort to advocate, to redirect, to reassure, none of that. So I need to understand the conversation that went on between them. What was his response? What was his response? Because silence in moments like this, it's not neutral, it's betrayal. It's straight up betrayal. I actually see a lot of stories like this where it's like, Everybody just wants to come to the room. You're not supposed to be hosting in a hospital gown. Even if I had, even at my home births, I'm not hosting. I'm not doing that. You just gave birth. You're bleeding, and then she's being stitched up. She's being checked. She's exposed. And so all of that, and she still got to entertain mom, well, mother-in-law. And then the straw that broke the camel's back on top of that. Not only did she get violated, he left her to be with his damn mom. I know you lying. I know. She needed her husband, and she turned into concierge for his mother. I hate this for her. And so now the trauma has started. Why? Because sis expressed she don't want another baby. It was traumatizing. It was beyond inconsiderate, right? It left her feeling unsupported, violated, emotionally alone. And so this boundary that was broken changed the dynamics of her entire family to where she's like, you showed me who you really stand by. You showed me who you are. You showed me I can't be safe with you in my most vulnerable time when I'm literally between life and death, and you can't even defend me. Sis. I'm just so sorry. Woo. I think it struck a nerve for me because my first birth was traumatic. Not from the family element, but that added onto it on the strength that I didn't know anything. I was trying to do research and this, that, the third. At the time, I was battling with lupus and kidney disease. And prior to even becoming pregnant, I had just finished, I wasn't even 30 days off of chemo, right? And from the moment I found out I was pregnant, I had only been married for like 3 months. And we both were like, whoa, what the heck? And so because I had recently finished chemo, I'm thinking like, I ain't getting pregnant. I'm thinking I'm going to have to take time for my body to at the time I didn't know anything about fertility. For the simple fact that I was still having periods and I was still ovulating, that should have told me that obviously I was fertile. But I didn't know that back then. I didn't know then what I know now, okay? And so the doctor, my nephrologist, actually was trying to push me to get rid of my baby. He just was like, I don't think you should have this baby. And even up to in my 20-something weeks, and he would still say, so you're keeping it? I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong with the baby. Why would I get rid of it? And so, long story short, even with them inducing me and, right? A nurse lied to me. They no longer wanted to wait. It just was a cascade, okay? I told y'all interventions lead to that cascade. And so, I didn't have it in me to say, I don't want anyone at this hospital aside from me and my husband. I want it to just be us, okay? In the room with me pushing, when I think back, it's like, why are you here? Not my husband, someone else that was in the room. Why are you here? I don't really want you here. And so this is the whole thing, people inviting you or tell me when to come. It's just like you feel obligated at a certain point. And so when I had made mention of, that time when I just wanted it to be my husband, me, my baby, especially after that traumatic birth I had, I didn't get that. My room was filled with, mom and dad and siblings and grandparents. And it's just like, why couldn't y'all wait? I have a whole pee bag attached to me with blood because they probably nicked something and wouldn't admit I was bleeding from my bladder. And I'm a mess. Had my gut split open. I have this baby that I feel no connection to because he was just stripped from me and then just attached onto me. So I'm trying to bond with my baby. I'm trying to go through the simple fact that this nurse lied to me and now I had this whole C-section that I never intended. There's so much going on. And so I feel for her. And why I feel for her more is that he had the opportunity to stop it when his mom kept calling and saying, oh, I'm coming. Even if he felt like he didn't want to tell her, he could have told the hospital, hey, don't let nobody else up in here. And he could have played it off. They ain't let you up. Oh, man. If he wanted to punk out about it, if he wanted to be a punk about it, he could have went about it that way. But no, he just didn't care. So I would be very curious to know how that conversation went with him when she expressed it. What was his reaction? What was his response? When that happened, did she talk to him afterwards to let him know how she felt? I hope she did. I really do. Whew. I don't want that for anyone at all.